What's up, everybody? I'm A.K.A. the Wizard, and this is the Put Up. I believe it's episode 19 now. We've been chopping it up 19 times with 19 different people so far. And today's no exception. We got an awesome guest with us. I've been chopping it up in the back end with them for a bit. T-Bird, welcome, bro. What's going on?
What's up? Just super excited to be here. I love talking about myself. You and I have been interacting off and on since I got into the community. I think you were one of the first people I started interacting with, along with
like
Knowledge and Maddie and those people. Yeah, I knew right away that you and I would vibe. Yeah, and when I saw, what was it, a couple months, I was like, I wonder if he's got something for that weekend because I got my album coming out, and sure enough, luckily got it in. So yeah, it's Fuck Yes just came out. Or am I wearing it? No, I didn't wear the shirt. No, I'm wearing my Iron Maiden t-shirts. I know, I gotta wear my fucking merch, man.
I love it.
How are people gonna know that it exists?
The Loop City Slums. I'm
a winter.
Hold on. This has to happen. We're doing it today because it's here. You're wearing it. We got this one too.
We got it.
We got the slummy wear going on. Here we go.
Yeah.
Look, yeah, I love that shit. Always gotta represent the best voice. That's it. So, yeah, you were talking to me in the back. We might as well just get started, bro, because you already kind of told me half of it in the back, and you got to retell it to everybody now. So, like, we're gonna go all the way back to the beginning of your life, wherever you started music at, and like start from there and tell us how that happened again.
Perfect. I was in kindergarten, and we took a trip to the North Dakota State Capitol. I lived in Bismarck, North Dakota. I was born in Fargo, and the governor at the time played violin, and I thought that was the coolest thing. My mom still tells me I came home and I was so excited because the governor played violin. Yeah. And when fourth grade, I decided to, when it was time to pick instruments, I went for the violin, and I played it for a long time. And seventh, eighth grade, I still had my violin, but I wasn't in orchestra. I didn't get lessons or anything. And I decided to try and play The Death of Optimus Prime, which is a song by Vince DiCola from the 1986 Transformers animated movie. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I'm like, well, how are you gonna do that shit, bro?
It's orchestral. There's strings in it, right? And just for the hell of it, I was like, I have this violin. I wonder if I can put na 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 na. And I was like, fuck yeah, I can do that. And then I started trying to like record stuff through my bookshelf stereo. And I don't know if you remember a band called King Missile.
I don't think I've ever heard of them. No.
They had a song called Detachable Penis back in the 90s.
Oh, I don't know about that. What the fuck? Okay.
It was kind of cool. You're like, what? Fuck you, man.
I love that.
So I urge everybody to go check out. It's called.
Yeah, we're going now for sure.
King Missile, and I believe the album's called Happy Hour. But it's a great album. Now they got famous because of this alt radio song called Detachable Penis, which was famous for a little bit because, right, it's a weird song, and it was the 90s. Everybody was looking for something weird and alternative.
Dude, that was so far on the edge.
But the rest of the album is great. It's a bunch of New York musicians who were fucking around with a New York slam poet, and they got together and decided to make an album. And like some of it is rock and roll where the guy's singing, but most of it is the guy doing like slam poetry behind these incredible alt rock dirges of shit, and it's fucking amazing. So I tried to make like music like that through my bookshelf stereo. And so you got a bookshelf stereo and a little mic, plug in, and you put in a tape and you record something off the mic. Then you take that tape and you put it in the next cassette thing and you record while you're recording over here. It was very lo-fi, you know what I'm like, way like, what are you doing, right? And that way you could make different tracks. You could, lo-fi 4-track.
Right? Actually, same thing, man. Just like a little cassette recorder, and then you hit like play and record, and it would go, right? Like little tiny mic in the top.
Yeah, anything you can find. Yeah, anything you can find to like record and then mess with the recordings. And so
No, I wasn't.
I just at some point I just really wanted to make. Yeah, and I knew I wanted to make music. I wrote my first song when I was like 16 or 17. These guys in my high school had a band, and they asked me to play guitar, and they realized I was a better singer than their singer. So we got rid of him, and we had a band, and then it just kind of fell off. I started drinking and drugging, and moved to Denver for 8 years. Did a bunch of open mics in Denver, and that's where I got my broadcasting degree and actually got my first job in media and sports media with Fox Sportsnet Rocky Mountain. Jay Glazer does a lot of stuff for NFL, and so does Carissa Thompson. I've worked with both those people at that job. I walked by John Elway once in the hallway. It was like, that guy's tall, but like little brushes with greatness. Yeah, like brushes with greatness. And always had the dream, did my open mics, recorded some stuff with a neighbor from Florida, and then he pieced out. And then a girlfriend and I moved to Ohio, and then I moved back here to Iowa and got into a relationship with a girl from high school. And the first 5 years I was drunk and not realizing that I was in an abusive relationship, that this woman was abusing me. And 3 years later, it took me that long to get out of it, because there's abuse victims will tell you, or I won't speak for all of them, but I will tell you that in my case, there was a comfort in some of it. So it took me a long time to get out of that, and moved back into my mom's house. And I think I'd started recording before I moved out finally from her house, or from her place. And a lot of that had to do with my buddy and I doing our podcast called Off Panel Off Topic. He had been with his girlfriend forever. They were engaged.
I saw that podcast, right? That's the thing that you do like sometimes off on the side there, right?
Yeah, I'll post on Twitter from occasionally. But I got to see a healthy relationship, and I knew that I wasn't in one. And that helped me a lot to have the courage. Like, I know I'm not in the right situation. Before I suspected, but now I know. So that helped me get out of it. And that also helped me. So I can't thank him enough for just meeting him. Was such a big deal. We met over down the hall here at one of the radio stations. He was training me, and we started talking about RoboCop. And he's like, "You like RoboCop?" And I'm like, "I fucking love RoboCop." And he's like, "Fucking," but so then it was over, right? We're best friends. We're best friends. But he's like 20 years younger than I am, so but he's a great dude. I've just been making music since then. Just first couple of years was just kind of on my own. Then I found the Twitter community, and I did some rap. Arigato, my man, the rap collab I did with D Money is actually the most Shazam song of mine, and it's always somewhere in Southeast Asia.
Interesting.
I don't know.
So they're like looking at, they're like, "What the hell is this song, bro?" I won't do the accent.
It's like once a week. Yeah, that's
amazing. I love
it's
that.
like once a week.
Wait, I was gonna ask you too.
And it's always someone. Yeah, you're like, can you be more specific? Like, is it a dude in a grocery store or
on your thing?
Okay, so I'm a huge Iron Maiden fan.
Okay.
I love Iron Maiden. And a lot of toys, a lot of like, cheap toys are, on the bottom they'll say like made in Taiwan or made in Thailand or made in China, for instance, whatever. And made in Thailand, my name's Tyler. And I always thought I screwed up my Twitter handle. It should have been made in Thailand, not made in Thailand, but it still works. Yeah.
Oh, like Iron Maiden, I get. Okay.
It is what it is.
I'm slow, bro. You just gotta give it a sec. It clicked.
No. Well, my Twitter handle is not right. It's _ in Thailand. It should have been, and I wasn't thinking when I
kind of weird Asian connection here and shit. I'm like, yo, because I don't know. I love it.
Okay, so Chris, gotta talk about it because I grew up in the 80s, and in the US was a huge just love affair, just adoration of all things Eastern, right? It was mostly Japanese, but there was a huge like love affair with the American public with Japanese things. Wolverine going to Japan. There was a lot of movies. There was, I mean, there was the song
divorce and go to Japan and shit. You know what I mean? Like people just leave life and
there was that song Turning Japanese. Right. Yeah. And David Bowie's China Girl, right? I mean, there was just this huge love affair, and I've always been fascinated with Asia in general, Japan specifically, and Korea specifically. But I've always been fascinated because it's a different way of thinking. Somebody who's my age who was raised in Japan has a completely different way of thinking than I do. Just because not only the environment, but also the way they teach and how their culture, expected to act in their culture versus how I'm expected to act. And honestly, in America, we can pretty much fucking do anything. And there's a lot of shame in public perception over in.
So, they just don't do that there. Right?
I think that's fascinating. I think it's fascinating to two people. Right. Yeah. I mean, he could be somebody who did exactly the same thing I did. Started smoking weed and drinking at 18, finally figured it out 20 years later. Same exact person. And we might not get along at all because we just don't think. And I don't know if you know this. A lot of people don't know this. But in Japan, we read left to right. In Japan, you read right to left.
Right. I remember that from some grade 5 class unit or some shit. We got to eat their food and read their books and all. Yeah, I remember that. That's nuts. That's some wild stuff, man.
So right away, there's already a disconnect.
Right.
Yeah.
There's so much different.
To us, it's backwards. To them, how we read it backwards.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna get into the style of your sound here.
Arigato.
Does this come into it? All these ideas of what you love in life, does this become what became your style? I'm trying to figure it out.
I think so.
It's the 80s thing, right?
Yes. Helmet is probably my favorite. In the Meantime or Meantime, I think it's called, is their album from the 90s. I fucking love that album. I can play everything off of it. Rage Against the Machine's first album, everything but the crazy Tom Morello shit I can play on that. Metallica albums that I learned how to play. Just I knew that informed my playing style, because once you can play a certain cadence,
they
or
all
whatever,
do it
or
different.
swimming,
they each have a specific thing they can do really well or whatever, right? And then you're kind of like the chameleon.
Yeah, exactly. So a little bit, yeah, and just whatever I liked. And when I was growing up, I was like, metal is everything, country and everything else is crap. And I didn't listen to rap, I didn't listen to hip hop. And then I did in the 80s, and then for a little bit I just didn't. And then I finally got back into it with Dr. Dre, The Chronic. And that was a good time to get back into it, because that fucking album.
That was a great time to get back into it.
Still fucking slays. Still fucking slays. Am I right? Still.
Oh, yes.
I mean, 50 years later, whatever.
Nobody can say that.
But I think there's. Yeah. How many albums do you know that you can press play and just let it go? But my musical style, I would say, at the core of my music and what I'm making is blues.
Okay.
I think I'm.
What? That's
I think I'm way more
before, right? I was like, is it a grunge style? Is it there's influences of a bunch of different things in there?
Definitely.
Right? Yeah, that's what I would relate it closely to. But then you'd say one Stevie Ray Vaughan, that kind of.
No, not that good.
What do you mean? Come on.
The sky is tired. No, I can't do that shit, dude. No way, man. Can't you see the tears roll down the street?
Yeah, it sounds like that, man. I can hear it.
Oh, don't get me started on SRV, man. Motherfucker, I love that guy, dude. I carried the clipping of him, the newspaper clipping where it told how his helicopter crashed. I carried that around in my wallet for 10 years.
Wow. That's some dedication right there.
Close to me. It just was. I almost got in. I got into him before he died, but not much. And so obviously you're like, I just discovered this guy and he's gone forever. But
now you're trying to
you
hold on.
probably know there's been countless countless reissues and stuff. I mean, he's been putting out, you know, new albums since he died, like all artists do who are popular, which is kind of sad. But it's at the core, it's blues, and then you branch out from there, and then you have all these like auxiliary like influences. You got grunge, you got classical, you got hip hop, you got R&B, you got funk, you got punk, you got Steve Reich. I don't know if you've ever heard about him, but he has an album. He's very experimental. He has an album called Music for 14 Musicians, and it's 20 tracks of the same thing over and over again, but it's different. The cadences change subtly throughout each track. It's fucking insane. Steve Reich, go listen to it if you're watching right now, because it will open your mind as a recording musician. Yes, it will. I think it's called Music for 14 Musicians, but it'll open your mind, because at first you're listening to it, and throughout the first 5 minutes you're like, okay, I think this is kind of the same thing, but it's subtle, right? You notice that it's changing, and the instruments change. Like one track is all voices, and the next track is all drums and like horns, and then the next one is like guitar and like xylophone. It's
the same song.
I urge everybody to record.
Yeah,
it's the same musical cantato. I can't remember what it's called, but musical shit.
That's wild though. Still,
right?
Like the concept of
it's really good. You'll be halfway through it before you realize you're halfway through it.
Oh,
it's crazy. You're like, I can't believe I've been listening to this for half an hour, and it's like an hour long, and you're like, this has just flown by because it's so different from anything you've ever heard before, you know. But yeah, blues. That's where my influences come from. And I'm always sponging. One of my favorite indie artists right now is Cray Wolf, CraeWolf, and she's this British chick, and British woman, and she does rap, metal, punk. I can't even fucking describe it, but it is bad fucking ass, dude.
Cool.
I sponge it. I might not ever write anything like that, but I sponge that shit up because it'll somewhere down the road. You know what I mean?
It's like uniqueness or whatever, right? To it. It's amazing.
Yeah. Anything that makes me go, what? Like that's gonna go into the toolbox, you know. If I ever use it, I don't know, but it's there if I need to use it.
Yeah, that's dope. Okay, so like walk us through the process of when you make a track. How do you make the track, like from start to finish?
So it can happen any number of ways, but the basic idea is I have music and songs going in my head all the time. Sometimes there's one that comes to the forefront. What's that?
I call it the radio. It just plays up there all day long while you're living, right?
Yes. we're all receptors, and we're interpreting those signals, right? Yeah, I feel the same way. And if it comes to the forefront, then that's something I want to fuck with and gestate and grow and build upon. And then that will just through my head, just while I'm doing other things, it will build and grow until it has enough of a structure that I can put it down on record. I can record it. At that point, I do the drums all first, or as much as I can. Like if the song starts off with a guitar, I'm going to do the guitar and then stop and then make the drums after that, and then do the guitar when the drums come in, and then just shift it so you can't even tell that it's different guitar tracks. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's the same guitar. Yeah.
Okay, so then you lay down like a drum bed track almost after that point as much as you can to play to, kind of thing, right?
Yeah, preferably if I can start playing when the drums come in and finish when the drums are done, then that's ideal. And then depending on the song, if it's I generally do guitar first and then bass, but I've done it the other way. And then as soon as I'm done with that, and I feel like the mix is pretty good, I come down here to the station and I go right down here the hallway, and there's a studio, and I just go in there, and it's great because I get really loud when I sing.
I see the photos all the time of this. That's where they come from, right there.
Yeah,
right?
you see the studio.
Okay.
A couple of TikToks, and so that's the process. I used to write. I have countless books when I was growing up, the last 30 years, whatever, of just lyrics. And at the time, I didn't really play much. I had guitars, but it was mostly in my head. But I write down the lyrics for like songs, and a couple of those songs have made it onto the newer albums, the newer projects. But generally, I don't remember them. It's been so long.
That's
But
crazy, man.
I was always writing. At this point now, though, right? I don't write the lyrics beforehand when I come down to do the vocals. I write them when I come down to do the vocals. I feel like it's more visceral. I know what the melody is. I know what I want to say and what I want to talk about and the general theme of each song. And to be really honest, I think that has helped my my lyricism, my lyrical ability. There you go. I think that's helped my lyrical ability to grow in the respect that I'll think about stuff. There'll be stuff on the on deck circle maybe, but I won't write it all out until I get to the station, and then I can read it off there. But that's how the song is created.
That's so
it
cool.
just, if it comes up, it's going to be part of the forefront, and I'm like, I like that. I'll roll it around on my metaphysical tongue for a little bit before I spit it out onto the record.
Yo, it's amazing. I love it. Okay, well, we're gonna actually go and hear one of these tracks right now, bro. I think it's called Archipelago, right?
Archipelago. The first time I heard that word when I was a kid, I was like, yeah, it was like, it's a geography term, and it's like the closest thing. The best way for me to describe it is the closest thing to being an island without actually being an island. So like, imagine like a strip of land that's like off of the mainland, but it's so narrow that it's still connected. Does that make sense?
It's called Turkey Point or something like that around us here. It's like that, where it like literally just ends in the water kind of thing, right? Yeah. That's crazy. Okay. No, I literally looked it up on Google before.
It's just, but I always thought it was fascinating. And when I wrote this song, we're going to listen to Archipelago. I love, I call this, I invented a new genre called sea shanty rock.
Okay.
And you'll kind of hear why.
Yeah, okay.
But it's available everywhere.
It's interesting. I didn't know the term sea shanty as like a genre of music either until I worked with a guy a couple of years back, and he's like, yeah, I wrote a sea shanty. I was like, what the fuck is that, dude? You know what I mean? And then like, yeah, so like I can totally see how that's kind of like that though. Okay. Well, we're gonna roll it and let the people hear right now.
It's more than just a simple convenience to crush this heart of mine into dust, or change myself to suit every season, to everyone for some breach of trust. Roll up to my island, but I got a leaky boat and I got a couple hours to go. Throw me out to that deep blue sea. Got punch in my pockets and I'm just about ready to go. die. Roll out to my island. But I got thinking about it, I got a couple hours to go. Roll me out to that deep blue sea. Got rocks in my pockets and I'm just about ready to go.
Welcome back to the Put Up, everybody. I'm A.K.A. the Wizard, and beside me here we have T-Bird today. And the song you just heard is called Archipelago, which is a piece of land sticking way out into the water kind of thing and just ending, kind of like an island, but not really, right? That's amazing, bro. Like the concepts of the projects, you know, that's amazing to me. Just think of what that means spiritually or whatever.
I'm a fan of like, yeah. I mentioned Helmet earlier, and one of the things about them that I think is that they're kind of repetitive. The music of each song is kind of a repeating motif, and I like that a lot. And as you heard there with Archipelago, most of the song is
right,
like that's the music, and then every once in a while it goes but that's. And then the vocals change over it. It's not the same. And this is this, and then this is this, and that's that. That's one of the things I love about music, or what I try to do, or when I can, is give me just a long string of the same musical motif, and I'll write 14 different melodies over that one fucking motif, and I will fucking love it, and I'll have a blast doing it. That's give me a couple of vocal sessions, you know what I mean? Yeah, I like that song better than I think I did when I finished up the album. I don't know. I think it was. I wouldn't say that like I didn't like it per se, but it was one of the songs on the album that I was like, that's a good one, but it's not like the best. And then as I've been listening to the song more, I realized like that's probably my favorite one off the album. It was really easy to record, and the solo was a lot of yeah. So, but yeah, I like it a lot more now than I did when the album was finished for some reason.
Okay, so let's get a little serious now, okay? What has been like the biggest challenge that you've had trying to do this music thing so far?
Not paying attention to the fact that maybe nobody's listening. I wrote there's a song Just Peachy on the new album, and one of the lyrics is watching zeros pile up content soldiers. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of people out there who make great content and fun content, but they do it for a week or two, and whether you want to call out those people for not seeing it through and not, giving more effort to it, it's beside the point. The point is that algorithms are stacked in such a way that some really talented people might just give up. And I think that's the biggest challenge for all of us, is at some point, whether you want to or not, you're going to be hit in the face with an analytic. Whether you go and seek them out on your Spotify page, on your artist page, whatever, or not, you're going to get hit in the face with an analytic. And it is probably not going to make you super happy or whatever.
Right. It's not going to say
at
10
that
billion.
Point, what do you do? No.
Right.
No. I mean, I've had like 10 monthly listeners forever. Okay, well, it's tough when I open up Spotify to listen to my own stuff, and I go to Amazing T-Bird and it says 10 right there. And I'm like,
yeah,
fuck you, but you learn not to look for it, or you learn rather just it doesn't matter, because there's a freedom in that, man. Like, you've heard the album. The first song on the album rips off Twisted Sister's drum beat, and it's It's like, what is this? And when I wrote it, I was like, do I really want to put that first on the album? And then I was like, fuck, yes, I do. I absolutely want to put this first on the album because if somebody's going to listen to this album and they never heard me before, I want them to know exactly what they're getting right off the bat. This guy is low down, dirty, he's gritty, and he's going to fucking tell you like it is, and he's going to swear like a sailor. So get ready, man. Like he is gritty as fuck and he's real. Yeah.
I told
that's probably my biggest challenge. Just not.
It's that realism, bro.
But you can't. But because my realism comes from me not being able to really hide my emotions and how I feel about shit. Like I'm just not built that way.
Hard on the sleeve.
But that also is kind of a curse. Right, but then I care if people are listening or not. You know what I mean? It's a double-edged sword.
It is. Damn, bro.
I know. But that's why I care ever, is because I'm like, oh, why doesn't everybody like me?
You know what? But here's the thing,
okay? I'm fucking great, so.
I think if I go on Spotify right now, you can see my page. I have only 2 singles up, right? And I have something like 27 monthly listeners right now or something. But I'm going to play a $500 show next month with my wife. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter to me what those random, because I don't really market to sites and things. You know what I mean? We go different directions with our music today.
Right.
Than,
yeah, I put it out there.
I'm angry at Spotify. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to get them views. You know?
Me too. Yeah, fuck Spotify and fuck all the. I mean, fuck everything for real. Honestly, like social media fucking just sucks, dude. Like I pay $20 to promote TikTok video and they're like, this is how many people might see it. I'm like, bullshit. You know exactly how many fucking people you're going to let see it. So give me a finite number, a single number. Don't give me 3,000 to 13,000. Hey, if you do $44, that's going to get you your goals. You don't know my fucking goals. You're a fucking app. You don't know shit. So why don't you give me a fucking real number?
I love that.
Damn it. This tech. I am one of the most liberal people you will know. A couple of years ago, big tech was Republicans' big boogeyman. And now they are the boogeyman and they always have been. And it's like, how did we not fucking see this coming? How did we not see all of this? Hey, you know what's great? If we get people playing these dumbass fucking games on their phone all fucking day and waiting for ads to play so they can play the next level, they won't give a shit that we're taking away all their fucking rights. And like, how did we not see this coming? God damn it. And we're still giving them money. I still have a fucking premium account and I fucking hate it. But
you know what? The worst part
leading to something, isn't it?
I had Spotify take down like my first single when I put it up, right? And then I was like, but I have a family account with like 6 accounts active on there right now, and I'm sucking them half hard, right? Like, so I don't know, man. It's all this like this big thing of like, being independent is this challenge in and of itself of just doing your own thing and not getting stuck into these numbers and analytics and all this shit, right? And just being able to progress through what your goals are, right? That's the key, is like being consistent and actually getting to where you want to go, right?
When I got into this community and everything, when I found Knowledge, and he's the guy I found that got me into the community, I got to be honest too. I'm still, whenever anybody calls me like community favorite or like, you know, T-Bird's legendary, I'm like,
yes,
I don't know how, but sweet, you know. Like,
T-Bird's legendary, folks.
It's just because, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just not, but when I first got in the community, like I had been making music and recording and releasing for about 2 years. And I was obviously at the point where I was like, who the fuck cares? Nobody's listening. I'm not getting the numbers, whatever reason you want to give. And I found this community and everybody in it is so different, but we're all the same in one respect. And it is that we can't help make music.
Yeah. I mean,
whether or not that's going to bring us to the promised land. Yeah.
I literally built an entire room. So I do it. I wake up every day and I come back.
Yeah.
Right. Like.
Yeah. I mean, whether that's going to lead us to the promised land or not is not the point. And it's not the point for a lot of us. And but we know that we have to play this fucking game if we really, really, really want to do it, you know?
Right.
And I'm not a fan of that, but I know that I have to do all that shit. And being in this community has helped me understand so much that we all struggle with that shit.
Yeah.
Whether we like it or not, whether we do it a lot or not, whether we're better at it than some others, we all do it. And it's so helpful to see other people who I respect and admire going like, man, I don't know if I want to, you know, it's like, okay, I'm not alone. I'm not alone. Fucking cool. All right. You know, it helps me not worry about those so much anymore because none of us are, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like, well, what are we doing here? What am I doing here? I like interacting with everybody, making collabs and making fucking dope ass music. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like,
and there's a nice,
when the guy came by you and it was like feeling like there's a celebrity in your midst or whatever, right? And like that line blurs for me now because like as I meet bigger people, I find out that they all have that same struggle too. They can't find a mix engineer. You know what I mean? Like same kind of bullshit that everybody deals with kind of thing, right? Yeah, it's just like they're all normal people, dude.
It might be on another, you know, it might be in another tax bracket, but it's same problems. You know what I mean? Like,
yes,
and yeah, that helps so much just to know that, like, okay, I don't have to worry about these problems, and it's also allowed me to just be. Every record I put out is authentic, but I think the level of authenticity has increased as I put more music out. More because I'm just comfortable doing it. And by the way, somebody's coming up in the elevator here, so we're about to see somebody.
Yes. We knew this was going to happen, don't we?
Well, they're coming out that way. I don't know. Oh. They might not come all the way up. Let's see.
Okay. That's all right. We were going to have fun with them, guys. If they did, we were going to say hi to them right on camera.
Either way, man, you know.
Okay, well, we're going to move on. All those negative things, they teach us to grow and all that stuff, right? So let's switch gears. What has been the biggest success that you've achieved so far in the music industry?
Well, one of the things, hi, Chloe is here. I'm doing an interview. You can come through.
Oh, okay.
But this is Chloe. She works at another station. The biggest thing I'm proud of is I'd say just making the friends that I've made.
Being able to
making the connections I made, making the being able, knowing that people I respect and admire me back. Huge flex, fucking flex for me. Just, I mean, when I see like Burns Boy like 21 post like I'm listening to Fuck Yes on Saturday.
Yeah,
I mean, to me, he's like. He's legend, you know what I mean? That's like, whoa, holy shit. Like he's, you know what I mean? Like that's right now to me, it helps me understand that I am making progress, and whether or not I'm successful.
Right.
Yes. According to whose metrics successful, but whether or not I am, I know that I'm doing something that people like. And that helps me feel like if I can just increase the exposure, which is what we're all here for, then more people will listen, and that's it'll grow and it'll grow. Yeah. And people like you who do stuff like this helps us out. D Money to me is, and Clismic James, but D Money is one of the hardest working guys in our community. He does, I think he does like a show every day. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But people like
I do one a week, and I'm like, how could you guys seriously like take on that kind of responsibility like that, right? Yeah, I think he's in the crowd.
Yeah, hey, D.
He's watching the show right now. What's up, D Money? Shout out D Money.
Hell yeah. But when hell yeah, D Money. But when you like people like you do things like this, it helps us feel like we're doing something, you know. Is this going to be viewed by 1 million people? Probably not. But it doesn't matter because
one day is my hope.
I'm having fun doing
it, right? It's 20 views, 30, 40 views.
Yeah, not yet.
At this point. Right, exactly.
Yeah, not yet. We'll get to 1 million, but not Right.
I have plans,
but
things worked out. Don't worry.
Yeah. So I appreciate if you don't get told enough, like people like you do things like this. I appreciate that there are so many people like you in our community who are willing to take time out of their lives and give back their time to the community and help so many of us who may be struggling with this success or not thing feel better about it and want to make more music. Like that's invaluable. So if you don't get told thank you enough,
right? Yeah, it's literally hearing things like that that's going to help somebody else go out there and make music again that felt like they couldn't. Right? It's not even me at this point. It's what you literally just said that part, right? That's what I love about it.
Right.
And the whole fact that the whole community works together at all points in time to make that happen for each other, right? Yeah, it's a whole thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a
and honestly, it's in battle of that whole record label. You get selected magically as the unicorn thing that everybody thinks the music industry used to be or whatever, right? We're here to fucking change that into this. What
it's going to be
now, right?
Yes.
Okay, so like you talked a little bit about music, right? And like when you go to create songs, let's get a little technical here. Like you said, you used to use something before GarageBand, was it? Like your buddy taught you how to use GarageBand through like that podcast or whatever?
Well, I had heard about GarageBand before I met him, and probably a year or two before, and I knew that it was free on all Mac, on all Apple products, and I'm like, I do need a laptop. I found a refurbished one for $300, and this was after I had fucked around with GarageBand. But yeah, I had to. I mean, I know how to edit. Being in sports media has helped me be able to edit sound, audio, video, all that stuff. And so I knew how to edit stuff. So and I know what kind of music I like, and I know how I want the music to sound. So most of it was just like, okay, let's play around until we figure it out. And again, as I've progressed, I've gotten better about certain things. But yeah.
Right, because you use like different softwares like at work doing the sports broadcasting type stuff with the other. You mentioned a name I think before, but it's like totally different. But then you got to take those skills and kind of apply them over into the recording realm, right?
Yes, and it's funny. I would rather sit and edit one of my songs than like cut a sports highlight for the air, like because they never give you enough back end, you know, like okay, like you'll have the play and it starts with like da 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 score. Give me about 10 seconds of crowd noise before you start saying like something else, dude. You know, like and they never do. And I'm like, so I'd rather do my own shit than like cut like a sports highlight because it's like I know exactly what I'm getting. But cutting sports highlights is still fun. It's still fun.
Yeah, I think I've actually done some of it. I actually did. I used to do live television for Rogers. It was like a television show. They do like a sports section, go to that live thing. I did some film work where I shot at like hockey games and stuff to send off to the fryer truck or whatever. Stuff like that, right? So yeah, I've kind of been involved with that type of sports media stuff before, but on the visual side of it instead of audio, right? It's crazy. So I would hear like the announcers and the guys.
Yeah, I did.
Sorry?
Quick question, Chris. You're Canadian. Are you a hockey fan?
I'm kind of a hockey fan now, more so. My son plays hockey, so I've been following like the NHL more than I usually do. But I used to play hockey when I was a child and stuff, right? What do we got here?
I'm a huge
fan. Yeah. Money said that in the comments earlier too. He's a huge Leafs fan, right?
I fucking love it. Yeah. I had to correct somebody on the air. They said Maple Leaves, and I'm like, it's Leafs.
It's Leafs, guys. Okay, with an F. No, actually, I was watching the game
Americans with your teeth.
Yeah, they ran into overtime, lost it right there, like almost 20 minutes into overtime, man. It was wild.
Yeah. '93, yeah, is the last time. It was the Montreal Canadiens that won the last Canadian Stanley Cup. So
yeah, so it's like it's been so long in Canada that we're just like we're not even like we love hockey and everything, but it's just like come on, please. Like, what do we got to do? You know, like
that's why
let's go.
Everybody love the Jets, man.
Okay, so one little question.
So every day here in Iowa.
Sorry, what?
Go for it.
No, tell your story first before I do my question for sure.
No, go. I'll tell you the question. Oh no, I was just going to say I play a lot of Jets highlights here in Central Iowa, and people are like, "Why are you playing Jets highlights? It's Central Iowa."
Come on, man.
Anyway.
Because Winnipeg's great. There you go.
Old time hockey.
Okay, the question. Because you already answered the one that's in the actual interview. We have this extra question that we don't tell people that we're going to ask. Well, I mean, I've asked it a couple times. Somebody starting out, what is one word of advice that you would give to them from what you've done so far in your career?
I'm gonna give advice to anybody under the age of 25 or anybody who is struggling with a decision to take a chance or not in their lives.
Right.
Take that chance. Trust me, as somebody who has regretted a lot of things, I can remember nothing about why I didn't take that. Like, I can't remember why I was afraid to take that chance when I was 27 or 32 or whatever. I can't remember why. I can't remember. And that's what I mean. You won't remember why you didn't, but you will remember that you didn't. Take that chance. The worst thing that can happen is that you have to start over doing something else. That is not that bad. Now, granted, if you're talking about the chance, like, you know, tightrope walking between skyscrapers, maybe you might die. But
wait. Don't take the chance.
That's extreme. You know what I mean? Like, maybe that would take a second.
No, but for real, honestly, I've watched it play out.
Maybe don't try
now. Yeah, it's a crazy thing, man. You got to take the chances. You got to get naked, set the bass player on fire.
That's my best
crazy thing that you've always been wanting to do. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. It's you know, like if you're like, oh, should I go to this school? Or, you know, I don't want to move away from home. You know, I don't want to. Dude, you won't remember what it was that held you back. You won't, I promise. But you will remember and regret not taking that chance. So do yourself a favor now. You're 23. You don't know anybody. Nobody knows you. Fucking take that chance. Because you may look back years later and go, I'm so glad I didn't let my anxiety or my depression or my, you know, or coworkers or whoever or whatever. I'm so glad I didn't let that affect my decision to take it and go for it. It's my best advice.
Amazing. Okay, well, we're gonna go to another music break, and I think it's the perfect time because this next song that we're gonna hear is called "Tough Shit." Preface the track for us. I think it goes right into just from what you were saying, bro. That's perfect.
This one came out. It was the first one I recorded for the album, and I really like. It's just one of the more metal songs, and doing the vocals was so much fun because there's times when you get to, if you know how to scream right, you can do it without fucking up your voice. And I figured out how to do that over the course of this 6 years. So you can hear my vocals are very, very desperate and very like I've lost my mind, and I you know what I mean? Like I'm very proud of the vocals on this one. And the solo at the end is an accident. I just started playing and it felt like all the strings were going slack, and I was using my whammy bar, but it was weird. So I'm trying to like, let me see if I can picture it. I'm trying to like bend these strings up like this way, and it feels like they're going slack. So I'm having to double bend almost. And then at that point, I got like 3 strings in my hand, and I'm just playing whatever. And it came out sounding really cool, like 4 different guys playing guitar. And it's like, fuck yeah, dude. You got to love that accident shit, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. That's amazing. All right. We're going to hear it. Welcome back to the Put Up, everybody. I'm A.K.A. the Wizard, and we have T-Bird with us this afternoon. The song that you just heard is called Tough Shit. Talk a little bit more about the guitar solo again, bro. You say you
Yeah, so again, when I made it, it was so there's a guitar underneath that goes me throughout the song, and it's the same patch, it's the same track, and I kind of didn't know how to end it, but then when I wrote the vocals and it came out like that, I was like, okay, let's just do it like that and make the solo, because obviously the music was already written by the time I got down here to do the vocals. But that's what lended that final vocal to be, you know, baby, we must be dead. And it just kind of goes into the solo. And I just literally was just playing and it felt like my strings were going slack. And I'm like trying to bend them to keep them. We talked about it a little bit off the air. It felt like one of the strings had popped. Right. Not broken in half, but when the winding like
comes off of it, right? And it just like loosens up to nothing, right?
I think it's the best way to describe it is when a string pops. But they were fine. I don't know why it happened that way. And then I started taking my whammy bar and just going like this, and it made that shotgun, that gun sound at the end. And I thought that was really cool. I'm like, fuck yeah, dude.
Fuck yes. You know, that's why the album's called that, bro. I love it. It's like a bunch of happy accidents or something. Yeah.
I could have called it Hell Yes. I know I could have called it that and been like, okay, that'll open up a lot of doors for me that fuck yes won't, right? But then I thought about it and I'm like, how many people in the world have ever thought about calling an album Hell Yes? And there's a band called Hell Yeah.
That's true.
And I'm like, no.
And there's probably many songs.
Be original.
Right? Yeah. Right. You know what? Actually,
original. Fuck.
Yo, if you go on Spotify and you Google search fuck yes, you're coming up first every time, bro. I just tried it. It's kind of amazing. Yeah, there's nobody else like that. So there you go. It's branded perfectly, in my opinion.
That's why I ultimately, yeah, even though my mom was kind of disappointed, like, why do you have to use that word?
Sorry, Mom. You know? I love it.
She told me, she's like, hey, she's like, you know, I'm like, aren't you excited that I'm so comfortable that I can express myself freely? And she's like, I just thought you were intelligent enough to express yourself without using that bad word.
Oh.
And I was like, well, shit, you got me there, Mom.
Yeah.
Bye, Chloe.
Bye. Okay, so we're gonna get into like more the connection type stuff now, right? Connecting with the audience, right? Making your art relatable to them, like just like we're saying, right? Mom doesn't like the word fuck, but like branding wise, I feel like it works great, right? So like, how do you make your art relatable to everybody? Like, is this part of it with this whole idea with the concepting of the visuals and all this stuff, right?
I think I'm reaching out to everybody's inner skid, and what I mean by skid is I'm talking about the jean jacket wearing, mullet, drinking PBR, mustache and sideburns, but not a beard, hockey watching, you know, just drives a lot of four-wheelers. But everybody's got that guy inside. And that guy is not always made the best decisions, but he's always a lot of fun.
Always.
And that to me is who I want to connect with inside everybody. Right. He's always fun. He's not always logical. Sometimes you're like, what the fuck are you doing? But he's always fun. So I kind of want to connect with that. And I also want to connect with I think also that everybody has a scared, hurt child inside themselves. And to some degree, varying degrees, but I think everybody has that inside. And I also want to let those inner children think, you know, things aren't so bad because
almost like
I'm not alone feeling like this.
Yeah.
A little bit. Chris Cornell, Soundgarden is one of my favorite bands. Rip Chris Cornell. But they were doing an interview during, I think it was Pretty Noose. They were filming the video, and they were doing an interview with them for MTV, and they were like, so everybody talks about how your lyrics are so, and your vocals are so depressing, and and really, whatever. And why is that, do you think? And he said, I grew up feeling like that, and I know that when I connected with music was when I heard the musicians talking about feeling like that. And so if I can help one kid feel better because he's not alone and feeling like he does that day, then I've made a difference. And that has always stuck with me.
Yeah,
my lyrics, the music is secondary to me. The lyrics are the main thing. The music is the vessel for those lyrics. And those lyrics are out there to tell everybody who has ever felt like they don't matter, or that they don't make a difference, or that they suck, or that nobody loves them. It's to tell everybody out there that feels like that, I love you. I care about you. You and me are alike. And you don't have to feel so alone anymore. And hopefully that helps them get through another day.
That's beautiful.
I just don't want anybody to feel. I felt that way in my life, and I never want anybody to feel like that, because it is a physical fucking pain.
It
is.
It literally is like, yeah, it's a whole traumatic side of life. And you're right, because I've been through a lot of therapy. I don't know if you know it or not. Like when I went to jail, I got out of jail and I went through probably $5,000 worth of therapy, right? And it's like, part of it was called IFS therapy, where you get like almost into like a hypnotic state, and you go inside and you start to like help that little child become okay with itself again. Exactly what you talked about, bro. I was like, holy shit, man, he knows, right? Like, that's crazy, bro.
I got I think I should still have it in here, but I'm gonna find this. I did something for myself a little while ago. It should be in here. Of course I don't. Well, I did have a picture of myself when I was younger for a while in my wallet. I don't know where it went. Yeah, I did. What I did was I found a picture of myself. Here it is.
Nice. Oh, like a physical picture. Damn.
That's me when I was.
Yeah, that's wild.
That's me when I was 5 or 6. And I decided at some point that a lot of my depression and anxiety comes from me not forgiving myself when I was younger for things that I regret. And I took that with myself, and I decided every time I felt really down on myself, I was going to pull that picture out and look at that cool little kid, man. That kid was cool. And think, man, that kid is cool. You are that kid. Be nice to yourself.
That's amazing.
It helps. I don't always remember, but just having it there.
There's a little tip for somebody if you ever need it.
Me.
There you go. Right there. Yeah. Go find a picture of your young self and put it in your wallet to start. You know what I mean? That's amazing. Cool.
Pull it out and look at yourself. And just remember to be good to yourself, right? I think all of us are it is so easy for us to shit on ourselves in this society. It just,
as artists especially, right? Like,
right, yeah. And with our artist, brains and being so connected to empathy and feelings and everything, we're doubly worse off. We're like shit. It's like everybody, we're okay, man. You just need to make some music. It's cool,
Get it out a little bit,
But, yeah, to be really honest, I feel like my mission on this planet is to help people not feel so alone.
Nice.
Whether or not I've been single forever. I don't know if I'll ever meet that special someone. I don't know. I feel alone a lot. But that's not the point. My point is that I know when I'm walking around and I hold the door for somebody, or I say hi to somebody, or I smile at somebody that just in a store or something like that, I might have made a big difference in that person's life. And that matters to me. That matters a lot to me.
I've had people tell me remember like crazy stuff. Like I've saved their life since helping them with their music now. So it's like, imagine I stopped. You know what I mean? That'd be silly at this point, right?
Yeah. I think it's full speed ahead till I die, man. I might be 60 still doing it. I don't know, but luckily, the funniest thing about me is that I do not look like I'm almost 50. But it ain't from clean living, man. I can assure you.
Good genes, just good genetics, you know.
Maybe it's because I'm fickle. My mom is 80 and she looks like she's like 50, so I do got good genetics. Yeah.
There you go. Right. Okay, so bro, what's next for you? You just released Fuck Yes, right? That album's available now. I think we might have links for it right below here, actually, too. And so what's next? You got some plans in the works? You said you're going on forever anyways, right? So
yeah. I would like to I want to get more social media savvy and just get my voice and my stuff out there more often, and kind of work on that. I wouldn't mind doing some collabs because I haven't done any for a while. There's a couple of people that I've talked to about doing collabs. Attaboy Paulo sent me a punk song like 6 months ago, and he is awesome.
yeah, he like does that stuff. Yo.
I've been so Invasion is like sick, right? Both parts. But I've had this song and I have ideas for it, but I've never sat down and just done it. So that's the main one because he's been just a glorious human being. That where the fuck is that song, man? You know, I wouldn't mind doing another rap, but what I would like to do, I think I'm already writing the next album. That's going to be called Tectonic. And I think I kind of want to challenge myself to put out 2 albums in 1 year. So it's April now. If I can get it up by December, that gives me what? 7 months? 8?
I think you could do that. I think that's totally doable.
I think that's what I'm doing right now. I've only made 1 song off of it because I during that 3-week lead up to the release date and whatnot, you're busy with so much other stuff on that album that you're like, I don't have time to make new shit.
Yeah.
But I did make a new one called Amun-Re. I'm a huge fan of ancient Egyptian history.
Okay.
That's one of my biggest I don't know why.
It's like geek out on the side kind of things, just like researching on Google and shit in your spare time. Like, I love it. Yo, bro, I take pictures of flowers.
It's just the whole ancient Egyptian civilization. It largely sprang from nowhere. It's
right. It is a
scientists and archaeologists still can't. Yeah, they can't quite determine where Egyptians came from. You can. It's. I'm not going to get into it here, but
look at element.
It's some crazy shit, and a little bit, yeah. It's just weird. But then all of a sudden, there's just this huge empire. It's like,
right.
Where did it come from? All right.
Yeah, and powerful.
But that's my thing.
Bricks that are sizes of houses and shit, like all that stuff that we don't know about, right? Like, it's inspiring and scary and all that shit all at one time, right? Like,
it's cool that people back in the day knew shit that we. Yeah,
that's true, right? Like they found metal that was welded underneath some shit from 1,000 years ago. How does that work? Right? Like, they didn't have Miller back then.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right.
No. Yeah. We have to use glue for manufactured desks and things like that. Back in the day, man, carpenters were so good they could make a desk without any adhesive or fixture of any kind. They just knew how to make the pieces fit exactly together. That's awesome. Forever.
Yeah.
We don't know that anymore. We don't. Anyway.
Yeah, that's a wild thing to think about, man.
Yeah.
But okay, so
I think so. I think it's
almost it for the interview now, right? We're gonna tell everybody how they can stay with you after you leave me today. Everybody, all the links below here to all of T-Bird's stuff. I think all your X-Pro, everything you sent me. Do you have a website too? Did I see that on there? Yeah,
I don't yet. I'm working with a couple of people to get one going. My goal is to get a website going and then take all my stuff off of streaming services exclusively.
Okay. Go have a look at my site. I made my own music store on there already. You can go take a little note out of my book, bro.
I think absolutely. That's my goal. I kind of want to do what you're doing, which is, hey, if you want my music, I think it doubles the amount of work that we have to do to get our stuff out there, but I think it's worth it.
You know what? We're taking it live anyway, so it's like now there's a spot for you to go directly. Spotify could shut down; it's still going to be there. You know what I mean? I'm running that thing, so it's like it's never going away.
Exactly. Oh, make sure you do a legacy so that your stuff never gets if you forget a payment. Like fuck you, man.
And then it goes away
Legacy
anyway.
this Spotify.
Yeah, so we got all of your links below here. Stay with him as he always posts on X all the time. Some awesome content about everything he's doing. So yeah, stay involved with him as he does. What's that next album called? What's it again?
Tectonic.
Tectonic, the next upcoming
Tectonic.
album. We don't know a lot about it yet, but
like the
we will
tectonic
see.
plates under the. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
What's
Yeah,
that?
that's cool. We don't know a lot about the project yet, but we just have to stay involved with you and watch along, right? As we go here, and then we'll find out as it comes to fruition, right?
I post a lot on TikTok and Twitter is where I mainly am most of the time. And I will just get on and be like, I'll do a 60-second video and be like, hey, this is what's going on in my life. And I know that we all know that, you know, connecting on social media with people we don't know, a lot of that entails like being yourself. Right. And that's who I am. I'm a dork who's like, hey, man, this is what's happening with me this week. I know you didn't care, but
hey. That's why we call you a legend, bro. See?
It's
just how it is.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Well, yo, it's been a great interview, bro. I
appreciate it.
So, yeah, otherwise, like,
thank you, man.
Else, have a great afternoon. It's been a great time, man. Thank you for coming here and doing this with me today. I knew it was going to be great either way. But yeah, otherwise, everybody have a great afternoon. Cheers.